Hello, and welcome to Depth Perception. We discuss movies and dive into how films direct the way we experience them. We create a perception of sound, a perception of sight, with a dimension of mind. We move into a land of both shadow and substance, of themes and ideas. Mr. Vosley, here with the usual droogies, K-Max.
Here I am. Let's go.
And the Tin Man.
Thanks for having me again.
We put it to a vote this time.
I was allowed back this week.
It was tied.
It was tied.
I won't tell you who voted for what.
Deadlocked.
Today's episode is brought to you by Dead Man. Dead Man is from 1995 and directed by Jim Jarmusch and stars mostly Johnny Depp, Gary Farmer, and Lance Henriksen, but the list of supporting actors is quite impressive. What I love about this movie is just how interpretive it can be. So hopefully we have some vast differences in our perceptions of this movie. But today's talking points include reactions and favorite scenes, a handful of scene perceptions, a certain trope that we did not discuss in the previous Western episodes that includes the idea of civilization and savagery depicted in movies. Then we move into our usual theme and why. The use of music and poems. And then we finish off with plot structure and how other movies may use the same one. So, tell me, how'd you see it? Where'd you see it? What are your favorite scenes?
I watched it last week. It's on, was it HBO Max?
I believe so.
HBO Max. I watched pieces of it at work. Probably watched it in 3 different parts at work, and then I watched it again at home. Just had 2 hours quiet and was able to watch through some of the scenes over again.
What's that like?
It's at 11 p.m.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
It takes the place of sleep.
Yeah. Totally understand. Totally get it.
But I watched it there. Is it just initial reactions, or we just...
Yeah, I mean, did it keep your attention at first, or like...
It was
a different pacing.
My first time watching it, I was like, oh, this looks like something I could make.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, just throw the black and white filter on my phone and go to town. It seemed odd, like it was paced funny, like it was shot weird. There were scenes where I'm like, oh, that'd be just 3 random friends quick drawing at a picture of the old guy on the wall. You know, like there were scenes that I thought like it just felt not, I don't want to say cheap, but it felt...
unrefined?
Yeah, unrefined, underproduced.
Underproduced,
yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Yeah. So it kind of felt unrefined, underproduced at times. The initial train scene kind of threw me off because I'm like, I don't know what I'm waiting to get caught up to the story and get brought in, and you kind of have to like go through some of it and go back. Okay, this has some weird meaning to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like it's like, what is he dreaming? Because I feel like I'm dreaming. Like I'm just like, well, okay. Go back up. Oh, there's a weird lady looking at me. Go back up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I told Corey, I was like, yeah, super odd. The first person that starts talking is the train, the guy who loads the coal in the train. He's like, couldn't be a more odd character.
Mm-hmm.
It's
his face is
Crispin Glover,
yeah.
Who my first interaction with him is that I know him from is Charlie's Angels, where he plays that creepy thin guy. He's covered in soot, and he's just like, what brings you all the way out here to hell? You know, like, I'm like, well, okay.
That's actually pretty good.
So, it's one of 2 impressions so far.
I believe our audience is, or should be aware or familiar with the other one coming up.
Yeah.
But I'm still looking forward to it.
I'm trying to find his lines so I get it right, because it says it in a weird way too. Like, it just has weird lines throughout the movie.
I mean, he has the one that you could say. I think it'd be pretty easy for you to say it. He just says the hunt is on.
Oh yeah, and the hunt is on. Something like that. Oh, yeah. With my cigar. The hunt is on.
K-Max, what was your experience watching this?
I watched it over the last couple of days, just pretty much piecemeal when I could get doing cardio, or actually listened to some of it while I was actually lifting. Had it on, like I'd set it on. I was doing like shoulders, so I put it on the machine, like 2 inches from my face. And I was doing it, and I was doing abs, so I had it like on my chest, and I'm like, well, that kept moving because the abs aren't what they should be just yet. But I powered through it, man. I wanted to watch it, and so it was work at first because it takes a little while to get going. But I liked it right from the start because it felt like a couple movies that I had seen and liked. From the start, it felt like a book that I had read first, before it felt like a movie that I've seen. It felt like a book that I had read. I was like, "Ooh, this has a feeling of this," and it reminded me a lot of. I'm not going to get too much into it because I don't want to spoil, something that it was similar, like plot structure and a familiar story. So I don't want to give that up, but I liked it right away because it reminded me of a couple movies that I really enjoyed. One of them was a Johnny Depp movie, a black and white one, and I was like, maybe it's just him. When he was playing the quiet at first, he didn't say much for a long time, and then when he did talk, he was almost like a simpleton. Like just kind of the things were happening around him, and he had no idea. Even when they're all like laughing at him at the place where he came for the job, and I demand to see them. He goes, "Oh, you demand to see him?" And they're all like waiting at the door. I thought, this is going to be a fun ride, and it didn't disappoint. It kept giving texture. I think that's the neat thing, is that it built from that point where it's like, this is underproduced, and then even from like some of there was purpose to it. You've seen later that there was a reason why all the sophomoric silly things they were doing them. And I liked feeling throughout the movie that I'm putting tools to use that I didn't have a season ago. That was cool. How about you?
So I had seen portions of this before, but I don't think I had ever watched it all the way through because a lot of the scenes I didn't recognize. But there were some big ones that I did, with a couple with Lance Henriksen. And I didn't know it was him at the time, but Michael Wincott, his character. So piecing it together, okay, I remember some of this, but the majority of it, I was like, okay, yeah, I don't think I've ever actually seen the whole thing. But it was fun watching it because the structure of it became very familiar as you were going through. And we'll talk about that a little bit later, but just this idea of William Blake being in this kind of limbo state and just coming across different event after different event and how it pertains to his journey here. Because I'm following that as I go along, but then it became very apparent when they're just after the trading post scene with Dr. Octopus, because I saw the river and I was like, just like the river Styx.
Right.
And from then it was kind of like, okay, I kind of had all the pieces of the puzzle laid out, face up, ready to be put together.
Would your understanding that instead of coins on the eyes, that tobacco was kind of his?
Yeah, I mean, I'll get into that for sure.
Because it struck me odd that he kept asking for. It was just oh, okay. He's like, you have tobacco with you. I traded it.
And he's like,
he
don't
would
smoke.
He's like, I don't smoke, and he was kind of like, I don't know. It kind of gave me the vibe that he's just like, well, you're not ready yet. Kind of feeling.
Oh yeah, I'll get into that for sure. I had to make the font smaller, and just to fit everything I had onto 3 pages. So I'll definitely get into that. Especially the final part where you got Blake, you got nobody, and you have Wilson all in the same area there. That happens where, Blake is floating away. You see what happens in the background. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of the key to be like, okay, I can piece it all together now. I got the corners of the puzzle fit. So I did end up seeing it again early one morning, I think, as everyone was kind of waking up. So I stuck it on and watched most of it again. But it was at that time, I'm typing in my phone.
Yeah.
And then later on being able to transfer that to notes so I didn't forget all the little observations I'm making.
Okay.
So yeah, that was my first time viewings.
What brought you to this movie? Like, what was your first time watching it? What was it that
Like,
put it
why
on?
did I put it in the rotation?
No. Like, why did you watch it the very first time?
Well, like I said, I don't think I watched it fully through, but just the idea of a Western with Johnny Depp and Gary Farmer, I feel like I had tried to watch it before.
To be on the list, yeah.
And knowing the director and how deliberate a lot of his work is,
Okay.
it's like there's no way this is just like a Western,
Right.
So I was kind of like had high hopes for it sticking well into the podcast as well.
All right.
And I think it did, but we'll get into it.
I agree. It's definitely in that same vein where I'm like, I don't get it. It's dumb, but the trying to understand the puzzle pieces is what makes it like a little like more entertaining.
Well, I didn't. I guess I'll start off our favorite scenes, but one of them I thought was you had mentioned it where they're pointing their pistols at the painting, because up until then, you get this scene where it's pre-credit, and they are, it keeps resetting, right? He falls
blacks
asleep,
out,
he wakes back
blacks out
up,
again. Yeah.
different people. And so you couldn't really tell, you're like, is this a comedy? Because Crispin Glover starts talking.
You're like, what? Like, why?
Like, is this a comedy? Am I supposed to laugh at this? Like, what am I watching here?
And Johnny Depp's a little, you know how like he is in Sleepy Hollow, which is also one of my favorite movies.
Oh, right.
Where he's kind of like passive in some of it, where he's like scared and kind of kiddish.
Yeah.
Like he acts like a little kid. There's a few times where he's with the former prostitute and he just got his blanket up like to his face, like a scared child type of thing. But
it was.
So I'm like, is it kind of comedy?
Right.
Like,
So when we get the scene where the three bounty hunters are drawing against the painting, and then Wilson is kind of like, faking drawing.
Yep,
So the other guys like they don't draw. They're waiting on Wilson to actually pull his gun. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, oh, okay, I get your tone now. You got this kind of like odd humor injected in here, and it kind of allowed you to receive some of that same humor later on in the movie. There's Gary Farmer when he puts on the hat and he's kind of moving his mouth.
He's like pretending to be him.
I thought that was funny.
It was like, okay, yep, there's our humor,
Or that scene with Billy Bob Thornton, and Iggy Pop, and Jared Harris. That's an odd one too. They're just.
Is that a fact?
This exact lines from Tombstone.
What about you guys? What are some of your favorite scenes?
I don't know. I pretty much. That whole scene is funny. Shoots him in the foot. Doesn't react initially.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's hot as hellfire or something. Like I forgot his line in that, but he's like.
I like when Depp's character falls out of Dell's apartment, falls out of the window.
That is like, it looked like it hurt.
It looked like it hurt. He falls. But a couple things I saw was without showing it, not saying it, that one scene for like maybe 5 seconds showed a ton of what the movie might be about. At the time when I was watching it, I was like, okay, this is something. So I rewound it, watched it again. Watch it again. I'm like, if it's not something, it should have been something.
Oh, it makes its way in my
With all the flowers that she made pouring out of the window.
That plus, first though, seeing the shooting star and the sky full of stars, and then as he falls, this ground full of paper flowers, and he's laying there. And I thought that scene right there, I'm like, it's so funny because before season 1 of Depth Perception, that would have been like, oh, he fell, and I would have only focused on that looked like it hurt,
Yeah.
because it did. But I found myself saying, rewind, look, okay, burn that into your memory because it's going to come back, right? There's a reason. And it was cool to have that hit me so bluntly. That was a neat thing. That's why I picked that one.
That's awesome.
And then when he said, when nobody, there's so many things I want to say about this character. But the scene that I liked that first showed me how much depth he was going to have, when he said, you were a poet and a painter, now a killer of white men. Like saying, this is what you were, not giving you a chance. You don't have a say in this. I don't need to know who you were. I understand your body of work, and I've seen what you are now. This is what we don't know right now about nobody's past or his trauma or anything like that. We just know he's saying this thing. And I like the mysteriousness of that character so much. And I thought that scene first introduced me to the depth of what he had. That he wasn't just this noble savage, that he wasn't just this romantic version or this violent, mindless savage. He wasn't either Hollywood portrayal.
Right.
He was going to stand differently. He was going to be a uniquely crafted character, and I was excited to see what was next. Those are the two scenes that made me think this is going to be good.
Yeah.
And boys, this week to have anything inspire me to care that much about really anything is doing something. Just surviving. Keep my head above water was
talk about being in limbo and dead.
Yeah, good gravy, man. Seriously, good gravy. Like the keeping my head above water was the gold standard. That's where I wanted to get to this week. Just survive in advance. But here I am when watching this movie and like, all right, I'm going to watch this. And it's funny because Vaz said the other night, he goes, well, you come over and record. Well, it'll take the stress away. I'm like, yeah, right. It's just more another thing to do. And as I'm watching it, I'm like, son of a gun was right. I was like actually getting back my, like the joy, like consuming art, what it's for, enjoyment, and to transport you a little bit. And it was doing it wonderfully. It's a really cool, couple of real cool scenes there.
I also love Nobody. There's going to be a ton of that this episode. But there was a kind of a reference to smoke signals, but kind of just another nativism. Because in Smoke Signals, he's got the line, and it's kind of repeated, I think. But some days, it's a good day to die. And some days, it's a good day for breakfast. Mm-hmm. So in this movie, we get some days, it's a good day for a canoe ride. So right away set you up for, hey, look out for this symbolic canoe ride. Yeah. Oh. Because that same bit of dialogue exists in another movie I was in that talks about
that's really
dying.
Cool.
So it was like, I get you.
That's pretty cool.
I'm on the lookout then for this canoe ride, and that's exactly what ends up being it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What are your favorites, Tin Man?
I will say this about Gary Farmer, first off. Shout out to one of our Haudenosaunee brothers, by the way.
Sure.
Born and raised in Six Nations.
The Naish.
And he's Cayuga.
Cayuga, right? Yeah.
I was looking at YouTube videos of people trying to analyze and understand it. And one of the first comments that showed up on there was a guy who had quit his job and became was working in New York City and had done drumming on the street. And he goes, I've watched this movie probably 100 times. And I was like, man, it must be an artsy guy. Why you watched this movie 100 times? He's really trying to understand the meaning and depth behind it. He goes, as I'm sitting there doing just street drumming, he gave the street name in New York City, on this corner or this corner. He goes, Gary Farmer walks by. And he goes, I couldn't think of his name fast enough. I just said, hey, nobody. And he said, the guy turned around, gave him a nod, and just kept walking. He was like, oh, he's like,
that's really cool.
I had my little spiritual experience having
cool.
My native guide come by and give me an affirmation.
I
gave him the lip.
Yeah.
I was never impressed with much of his acting. I just thought, you're playing a role, you're being this role. I was like, here, man, I almost want to go back and apologize to all the other roles and say, especially, the one scene Vaz was talking about already, just that little, had partially ad-libbed, it has to be thrown in there by him and his own experience when he put the hat on. He grabbed it with his purpose. I thought, he's going to bless it, or he's gonna something traditional and romantic to this hat. You know what I mean? He's gonna and he put it on just so he could bust balls with it. It's like he put it on and it was you know what I mean? I'm like, and he even looked to the side and the other way, and I'm like, I could see any of us three doing that.
Yeah.
Yes. And then he politely put it there, not the same place, just put it on the thing next to him. I thought, what's going through his head right now? You know, that's a cool filmmaking too. When you're curious about the characters, you're like, why did he do that?
There was cool moments throughout it that I was like, ooh, I wonder where this scene goes, because it felt like each scene was like a new part of the dream or new part. Oh, you beat that level, the next level.
There it is.
Getting through these.
I felt a lot of that too.
Yeah,
I felt a lot of almost
these are challenges, and you
like
have to
Odyssey.
pass the challenge in order to move on.
I felt very much watching this like this is a version, or it has to be an adaptation of the Odyssey,
Right?
Or
right.
you know, or like getting through these challenges.
And that's the thing, though. I go, it can't be. Oh, you're killing white men, and that's the solution to like. There's more to it. It's not just the white men, what they represent or what roles they're playing have effect on it or have a reason for it. It's not just he's killing everybody. Mm-hmm. But
half the time it's not him though.
The first half it's not, and he starts to later on where he's actually making the choices. He makes that deal with Dr. Octopus, almost expecting the Alfred Molina.
Yeah, I love the fact that we reference people like that.
And like as they go out the door, I even wrote that on there. It was that's in my notes because it's written on the door. It's work out your own salvation. It's like it's on the door.
Yeah.
After he
That's right.
he tries to pull the gun on him, he grabs the gun and stabs the pen into his hand. Takes all the stuff from him.
Only then was he ready for that tobacco, right?
Apparently. Yeah. You have tobacco. I don't smoke. But I did like, I think one of my favorite scenes is the Robert Mitchum scene, just him in it. Just the scenes with him in it. Mm-hmm. His delivery is so odd. Like
He's got that sweet long hair.
Yeah, like crazy man long hair. He's like,
most of them are delivered to a bear. Most of his lines.
Yeah. I could deliver this to this bear.
I like when the bounty hunters are like, they're waiting for him to come in, and he comes in, doesn't acknowledge, and just walks straight to the bear.
Yeah.
I suppose he'd be easier to bring back dead.
Yeah, is that true?
Don't forget his beautiful young horse. What is it?
A pinto?
A pinto. From my personal family stable. Something like that.
That's exactly it. The one guy just starts sassing him about, it's a pinto.
Yeah.
It's not much of an animal.
Yeah.
He pulls the gun on him.
I'll reference this again, but I want to point it out. When he starts talking to the bear, you see Wincott's character impersonating.
Yeah. See, that's what threw me off sometimes, because I'm like, this is supposed to be like, you know, there's a lot of depth and meaning behind it. I was like, they just filmed these guys and be like, do what you want in the scene. You know, there's some scenes I'm like, I don't understand. Is that what they're trying to go for?
Well, it was like away from Mitchum too, so it was like it was
like
almost like he was doing it for us. Because I think the other two guys were also looking the other way.
It's almost like looking back at the camera, like, don't look at the camera.
Yeah.
Like a child.
It's for Jim.
Check this guy out.
It's Jim from The Office. It's just
Holy cats.
So let's move into scene perception. So I don't think I gave you guys the scene.
You didn't.
So there's going to be 3 of them here.
It's going to be a train wreck.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens.
choo.
I just got reminded I'm hungry. Damn it.
So our first one, we've kind of talked about it already,
Jim.
but I'm interested to see each of your perspectives on it.
All right, here we go.
The pre-title sequence and conversation with Crispin Glover.
Okay. So what are you looking for from us? Our perception?
Your perception of what that scene means for you, what it means for the story, how you took it.
I looked at it like I said, like almost like an Odyssey. Like this is your oracle giving you the warning. This is your that's it. I felt like an oracle, almost like, you know how the blind man that was on the on Oh Brother Where Art Thou? He was on the little trolley train, and he's kind of giving them like a warning, like this sage advice. This was a similar thing, but almost through like a jester type character.
Okay.
But to me, it was almost like let me set the stage for this whole thing here that's going to unfold. That's what I felt like from that.
What's the name of the guy at the gas station in Cabin in the Woods? They had a name for the guy at the gas station. The Harbinger.
The Harbinger, yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Kind of like
that's
that
right.
type of character.
That's exactly it. That's what I thought. Oh, that's a good word.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, now okay. So I thought it was almost like a dream state. He's kind of going in, going out. People are looking different. It's going in, going out, and then you wake up. It's the train again. Later on, they say you're a dead man. You're a dead man. I'm like, okay, well maybe that's him passing, or that's him coming into whatever state he's in now. Mm-hmm. And you don't have any perception. You just know he's coming from some city. He's dressed different than everyone else. He's not accustomed to this spot yet. And I don't know. They start shooting at Buffalo. He's like, they're shooting at Buffalo. I don't know. It's just a weird scene.
It's like I think I talked to you about that one. It seemed like a reporter in National Geographic or something, where he's talking to the camera and the actions behind him.
Because Johnny Depp's Blake, he winces from the gunshots, and Crispin Glover doesn't move, but he blinks. Like the gunshots still make him blink, but he's like, "Yeah, it's loud. The government said they got 1 million buffalo they killed." It's just like a weird set of dialogue.
When I want to describe the scene, you've made me feel very incompetent because your Crispin Glover is pretty on point. Now I feel like I can't describe it
without.
Seriously, man,
it's so almost surreal. You're getting put into a state that's like, okay, this isn't real. That's the way I would see it. I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, something's dreamlike, otherworldly, but it's not natural. That's how it feels to me.
Yeah, there it is. Not natural. It felt a little bit off. There was something off about it. I couldn't put my finger on it myself.
Okay. So to me, it felt like Blake was almost like going back in time. And so each time it restarted, it was like it was stripping his surroundings of civility and adding uncertainty and discomfort, a little bit of confusion. Because you start off, everyone looks civilized. They got, pocket watches and nice suits on. And he dozes off. He wakes back up, and now it's just a woman in very simple clothing. And he dozes, wakes back up. And it's guys in furs, and he dozes, wakes back up. And it's dirty miners. So it keeps going backwards as he goes further west. And
or deeper into hell.
So Crispin Glover's character questions him why he's traveling all that way out there, and to me it was almost like Blake was hitting rock bottom because he's like, "Hey, you got any parents out in Erie?" And he's like, "Oh, they passed recently." "Oh, okay. Do you are you married or engaged?" He's like,
it does sound
no.
like him, though. You married?
And she's like, "Oh, she found someone else." Huh? He's like, "No." He's like, "Oh, yes, she did."
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It was like, "Oh, you
like,
wouldn't be here unless everything was taken from you." That's what it felt like.
Ah, okay. And the fact that he knew more than he was letting on, an apparent total stranger is coming up to you and telling you, "No, that's not true. You're keeping information."
Right.
There's other things going on.
But he looked at it, he's like, "Machine? Like, that's at the end of the line." Like, it's kind of like questioning, like, "Are you sure you're ready to travel that far into the depths of hell?"
Yeah.
And that reminds me, I counted, so it's 7 times
He blinks out?
that it resets on
Really?
us. And I was like, isn't there like a 7
Dante?
it's
but
like 7
so I
levels of
kind of
hell,
looked into
yeah.
that. I think it's 9 though.
Okay.
But I'm sure there's
That's a
something
nice
else out
cake.
there. And I did not look into everything that I didn't fully pull on every string that I unraveled during this movie.
Yeah.
So that's one of them is, 7 in relation to hell. So I'll have to look into that one at another time. But that's kind of part of it all, is like he was going back to a more primitive, more rock bottom version of everything. And so I don't know if that was symbolic for possible suicide, like, well, yeah, your parents died, your wife left you, or your fiance left you for someone else, you got no job.
I did listen to someone's theory, and it was on a stretch that I don't think I would ever have reached, but they had thought that he had killed his wife and his kid. And that it was his, like, that's the 2 bullets that he incurs, is his atonement for the things he committed in his life.
It'd be interesting to hear how they support that.
The references to a woman and child, there's several women and child.
Interesting.
The woman taking the bullet initially, she gets shot, and then it buries in him. And that's what's slowly killing him too, because he can't get it out. The white man metal that won't come out of his chest.
Well, that's what I opened the episode by saying that I love how interpretive this movie can be.
I was gonna say I would have never made that connection, but that is someone's connection out there.
Mm-hmm. So this also though set the stage for me to say, "Hey, Mr. Vosley, there's going to be a lot you can interpret here. Keep your eyes open for everything."
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So second scene perception, because I think we've skipped out a few movies with the scene perception, so I'm trying to make up for it here. So our second one.
Send it.
Okay, at the end, nobody and Cole, when they die at the same time, or they fall over at the same time when Blake is floating away. What do we think about that?
The thing I like, the thing that hit me the most was the fact that it was Blake's last thing he saw, right? I mean, when he's kind of like fading out, he sees it unfold. And I mean, to me, it was all about, I mean, I think this is obvious. It was all about like the final thing that he had to see was, I don't know if I can connect the dots here. But it was like, it was all for Blake. It was all, he had to see this unfold. He had to see his spirit guide fall to this killer, this brutal killer. But he had to also see his spirit guide resolve this killer that was after him, so he can now travel on in peace. Maybe also.
Okay.
I mean, and in my head, that's what I perceived it as. Like he's seen that the journey was over for his spirit guide because he was off,
right.
ushered on, and then but for that peace, for him to travel on, he had to. It was almost like a nice little spiritual metaphor of here's these 2 final things resolved, and now you can travel on.
Okay.
That's what I felt.
Yeah, I felt something similar too because the guide, it became more obvious that he's a guide further in the story because at first you're kind of like, he's around, he's saying weird things, it's more, I don't know if more conflict between them, but it becomes slowly he's trying to like learn, they're learning from each other, he's guiding him through, he's eventually getting to the point with the tobacco where he's, ooh, do you have any tobacco? I don't smoke. He's like, you're not quite there yet. There's, we'll get you there. And then once he finally gets there, it's almost like their tasks have been completed. The killer was supposed to be chasing him. That was his job, was to kill him. And then his job was to get him through. And I don't know. I kind of saw it as like, oh, their tasks are complete. They've
like a bookend.
Yeah, a bookend. They both neutralized each other. Like that's, they both did their task, but he made it to the end.
It's funny. It reminded me of a movie that Vaz said, Road to Perdition. I don't know why it did. It clicked with me because I just recently saw that movie, and it reminded me of that, like that resolution. Like this is the final thing for you. Knew it had to be. You knew he had to find you. You knew this was going to come. That's what I felt that when I was watching that last scene.
Also, I love that we can watch movies and be like, oh, I remember when so-and-so talked about this. Kind of look out for it.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
I think it is. Cool. That's a new skill over here. This side of the table, at least.
Unlocked.
Yeah. Player 3 has entered the lobby.
So I saw that the duality of civilization was cemented there. And so that kind of plays into my my theme and like the trope that we'll speak about in a couple minutes. But that was the key for me to fully connect a relationship between the three characters. So there's a reason that those two characters, Nobody and Wilson, were in sync at the end, and the last two remaining before Blake floats away, like K-Max had mentioned. So it allowed me to kind of start my own journey of connecting the themes and placing the final pieces of the puzzle, together and understand at least how I perceived the movie to understand what it was talking about. To me, it felt like I was in Wheel of Fortune and it was missing just one letter to make it solvable. I'll buy an O. Oh, okay, there it is. That's what I was saying. I don't want to say too much more on it though, because it'll flow into what we talk about in a bit. Yeah. So our third scene perception, our last one for this episode, and you already pointed it out. Thel shows Blake her paper flowers, and kind of that section of the movie right there.
So do we start at the bar where they meet, or she gets thrown out the bar?
I would say start when
they get back to the apartment.
Start when she brings him to the apartment.
Okay.
And you can end when K-Max and Medchin falls out of the window. So you kind of talked about a little bit already, but we'll see if there's anything else you wanted to add to it.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I'll go first. That was a neat scene because they're in all their clothes still, so like nothing sexual occurs, or there's nothing mentioned that's sexual between them. She's showing him these paper flowers, and once you say there's just a drop of like something that smells that she puts on each of them.
She
wanted to. That's right. That's right.
Well, right now they smell like paper.
That's right. Yep. And Gabriel Byrne, a top level actor, shows up for 30 seconds.
I thought he was great though.
Right? It was like, I like that he shoots her, or he shoots him. He tries to shoot him. She dives in front of him, takes the shot in the chest. It goes through her and then buries into Johnny Depp. And then Johnny Depp returns fire and he doesn't move. Returns fire again, doesn't move. Returns fire and gets him in the neck. And he goes down. Panics, grabs all his stuff, clumsily falls out the window. Paper flowers going everywhere. The star falls.
Did it spark anything for you? How did you feel during that?
It felt like it was a very meaningful scene, and I could not.
Like, I can't wait for K-Max and Boss to explain this.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. The only thing was that one guy mentioned. He goes, yeah, I think that because of their relationship or what happened between them, that the other lover that was involved, that Johnny Depp might have did something in his previous life, why it's a purgatory type state he's in. But I never got there with that. That wasn't something I connected.
Yeah, that was the first time that I thought there was something more at play here.
Yeah.
Rather than just what was on the surface, like just this dimension type thing.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of a lot of movies and stories that I've read that I really like. Radio programs. I'm a big fan of those, like radio, like Orson Welles stuff. Mm-hmm. And when I saw that scene unfold, I thought, this isn't going to go down one of those paths, is it? I saw the star go, and I saw the sky full of stars. He falls out of an event that he just got shot in the chest, ish. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It went through that wonderful breast and through that poor lady. It threw and into him. I had to throw it in there, of course, for my fans out there. And then, so he may be mortally wounded. Grabs his stuff, but he didn't do some things that a desperate man. I thought he was a desperate man, but there's this big pile of money in there too. Like there's things there. There's things there. Maybe not a big pile of money. There's things there, the resources that he can use, that he could grab if he wanted to, if he's such a desperate man. But it's like he's made this. There's a transaction that's happened there, and it was galvanized as he fell. You see the sky full of stars, the shooting star. and then the cloud, the blanket of paper flowers, which to me it was like a symbol, so much symbolism. But at that point, I'm like, but of what? I felt like you.
Yeah.
Symbolism, and there's heavy here, but of what and for what purpose?
Right.
So I think if we're doing the scene, we're trying to figure it out a little bit. I think that was the time when maybe there's. I don't want to give something that I'm going to talk about when we talk about familiar storylines and similar movies. But there was a feeling that I got that was in a couple of these movies I'm going to name later. That was the precipice right there. That was the jumping off point. When that happened was like, oh, that might have been the time that this happened or this journey began.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
I don't know if it's true.
I mean, that's what started the Dickinson's chase after him, is because that's his son.
Yeah. And that's what started where you get the edict, where you get this is going to be the great chase scene. Now this is what it's going to be all about.
Yeah, it kind of kicked off the events of the story.
He's telling the bear, "This is my son."
So I saw this as a, K-Max here. I think we're in the same lane here, but I saw this as a poetic gesture, a symbol for the start of Blake's journey of death. And there's duality to the idea of flowers. So you'll notice that I do a lot. I think of a lot of this movie as duality, and I'll stop there. I go on. But flowers, they can be used in celebration or in mourning. So also they're beautiful, but when we see them, they're dead. Like they're already dead. We're seeing how beautiful this thing of nature is while it is already dead. And with their construction being man-made in this instance, being of paper, it kind of offers this notion of artistic and cultural traits to the idea of death. Like a fusion of intellect and nature.
Oh, cool.
That, that's kind of my foreshadowing. Also, the quote, "I don't smoke," starts here. All right. She asks
That's right,
if he has tobacco.
Yeah, she doesn't ask him for cigarettes. She just asks for tobacco.
Yeah.
Yep. ...
Dot, dot, dot.
Talk about a callback.
Shout out to Mamma Mia.
I was going to say train spotting, so I didn't have to say Mamma Mia. So K-Max, because I know where this is going, I'll name drop one of the things, but we won't go in depth until the end. And hopefully it's one of the ones that you picked up on. There's another movie, and to a larger scope, Culture, that sees flowers associated with death. So K-Max, you may recall Coco, with the petals throughout the movie.
Yes.
So in that movie, Miguel passes through to the afterlife with a strum of the guitar and a whoosh of the marigold petals. So speaking of guitar strums and whirling flowers, what do we get after the bullet lodges into Blake's chest is he goes whooshing through a cascade of flowers, right? So very striking, very specific similarity there. So that'll kind of lead into what we talk about later. But I was hoping that you'd pick that one up.
That's so awesome. I just crossed it off. I just crossed it off my little list here. I had a little cloud around Coco just with the flower petals, and I don't know if I was going to go exactly that road, but it's like I knew there was something there, and I don't even know if there was something there, but I perceived it as there's a transaction here happening. It's not complete.
Yeah.
But there's something that's starting here. There's something that's starting here.
Did you guys find it weird, like because he first finds the gun, he's like, it's under the pillow, and he's like, oh, what's this for? She's like, it's because this is America.
This is America.
That was an odd line.
I heard Gambino. Come to my area. I got a strap. I got a carrier. This is guerrilla war. I'm going to go get the bread. Because I'm going to get the bread.
Yeah, I watched that. When I found that music video, I watched it probably like
I'm so cold
20 times that day.
That's such a good tune, man.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was so odd that was her
There's
reaction to the
there's a
weapon.
lot of that, and I feel like it speaks to a lot of the duality that I'm going to bring up, and I guess we'll use that as a segue.
I guess we can use that also as why it's so black and white. You want to be intentional about its color schemes throughout it.
I guess you could.
Look at you.
So, anything else to add to the scene with the paper flowers here before we move on to our...
I wanted to mention that when, again, it's not this scene, but I think it's important to mention when he like bumps into her and she drops. He didn't even bump into her; she was thrown down.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny how he mentions that guy appeared like he was, like he
He
was
was
kind of
inebriated.
yes, he was.
How dare he?
Yeah, and she's laying there and he's trying to pick them up, and she's like, "Well, these are no good
Yeah.
because they're dirty. These are no good. These are no, There's a lot of that, and then on the same mouth that says these are no good is talking about how hopeful she is that when I get a little more money, I think I'm gonna buy fabric. I'm gonna make these out of cloth. I'm gonna put fancy cologne or fancy perfume in there, right?
Yeah.
So they'll smell good,
Yeah.
And so it's just so much there that I said there's so much here we're jumping off into.
And before I forget it, too, we've kind of established the symbolism of these flowers. For the rest of the movie, he keeps one, he sticks it in his pocket, right? As kind of a decoration for himself. All right, so we got this trope that I think it's a decently specific trope, but I feel like it's very common in Westerns that we didn't really bring up as much. And it's the idea of civilization and savagery depicted within stories, within a lot of Western stories. So you have, just this idea of expansion and civilization. We're going to tame the frontier and turn it into a nice town. And then you have the savage side of it, where things are settled with bloodshed and violence. And so, I mean, you look at Tombstone, where it's, this is a cosmopolitan
Very
place.
cosmopolitan. Yeah.
And then you have things, the one poker fight that spills out into the streets. Like, he called me a liar.
Yeah.
He's
Shot
like,
your
"Hey,
ear."
it was legal.
Yeah.
So, like, you have this idea of, the civilization with a very dark shadow of what it takes to get there, or even the side effects of human nature to that side of civilization. Like I said, a lot of like this idea of duality of civilization. Then, so progress being accompanied by violence and ruthlessness, not just physical ruthlessness either. We see Mitchum's character in this one, and the accountants and how ruthless they are. Like, yeah, you go speak to them.
Yeah,
and
they're all
pulls
just
the gun on them.
racking up,
Yeah.
just dying laughing.
Is that John Hurt? Is that who that is?
Yeah.
And it almost felt very Odyssey-ish, like they were almost like characters. Like, remember when, oh God, help me, what movie was it that we watched? It was another pod in the first season one that I was talking about. I think it might have even been Mamma Mia, God help me. Second reference in this episode. Where there's characters that were almost there that were almost like an audience that were like, almost like,
the dancing?
like
the
almost like
dancers?
that. Yeah, remember that? Remember we kind of cited that? Those clerks kind of reminded me almost like a chorus. They call them a chorus in Shakespearean literature and in plays, a chorus. They're just there and they're extras, and they're the same actors they'll also be like the ladies in waiting, or they'll be the dancers. Or that's who they felt like to me in that scene. I don't know if it ever came to be, but it felt like they're inserted there on this Odyssey as they're just witnesses. They're just symbolic things.
Yeah,
there,
and you're kind of, his character's kind of carried along through the story, where he's passive through a good chunk of it.
And he plays that role so perfectly, Johnny Depp does. And I think he plays it similar roles that way. Like, this is happening to me. I'm innocent here.
He's kind of like a youthful innocent throughout it that's getting pushed along in this.
This story is happening
this
to
awful,
me.
the end of the line where everything's dead things everywhere. Guy's getting a BJ and points a gun at him.
Yeah.
There's a horse. with his dick out, pissing on the ground.
Yes.
Like it's like oh, everything awful's here. The people are awful. They're, like, everywhere they work is dirty and gross. Like everything's. And the guy behind it all has got a huge bear that he talks to and points a shotgun at him the first time he sees him.
Right.
And it's like, oh, okay.
Well, your only job you're going to have is pushing up daisies.
Yeah, this is the end of the, And a pine box pushing up daisies.
Oh,
You know, like,
Hey, quick aside. Is he the Boston Scrooged?
I don't know. Robert Mitchum?
Please help me with that, because his voice and then his look of this guy, I'm thinking he wasn't around then, was he? Or when was Scrooge made in relation?
I think he was around. This was 96. He was still alive.
If you can find that out for me, I'm sorry. I can't move on past this. This is what I do.
While he's doing that,
ADHD is a wonderful thing.
so before the credits even roll here, I kind of mentioned it, but the passengers start off in their fancy dress, and you have this modern train technology with the smoke coming out of this big machine. So there's this emphasis on industrialization early in the movie too. I'm going to machine.
Yeah.
I'm going to work at the metalworks place. But then you see the other side of it once you get in there, of how ruthless these people are and how heartless they seem to be, and like the cost of progress is this empathy and intellect almost. Did you find out, Tin Man?
Preston Rhinelander.
Oh.
It is him. Yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
I was like, I've never heard of Preston Rhinelander.
I know,
Yeah.
me too. But
That's
honestly,
that's his name.
I'm
Scrooge,
so glad, because I was like, when I heard the voice and I saw him, I'm like, I never made the connection that that's the guy from
Yeah.
Night of the Hunter. The handsome
Yeah.
homicidal
preacher.
Yeah.
The smooth talking homicidal preacher.
Yes, with the cool tats on his
That
knuckles.
might be my Halloween costume.
Dude, you win wherever. Just talk a lot.
Just talk.
do the
Just
voice.
have my knuckles tat,
Yeah. Yep.
Just do his voice all over.
That's it.
I don't know if anybody would get it.
Two of us would.
You'd have to invite us.
I'd have to paint myself like the Dean from Community, like I was in black and white.
Dean.
You missed a spot
Yeah.
to be the dean.
But the idea also, you had Johnny Depp in his clown suit, right?
Yeah, it calls it a clown
From
suit.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that clown suit? Cleveland?
Clown suit.
Well, actually, yes.
Yeah, I did.
I love his character. I love the way he played it too. It's just
But that, along with Thel, she gets doused in mud, and so it's kind of like this idea of this sign of civilization just being pooped on. Like she gets doused in the mud, and he's kind of like, "What's this clown suit here?" So, and kind of fast forwarding a little bit, still within this section, or within this idea, but the layers of duality in there with nobody showing up, and he's dressed in leathers and furs, and he's got Gusteau on with the feathers, but he's probably the character with the most understanding of the civilizations around him.
that's exactly yeah.
So it's kind of like, again, the duality. Okay, you got this guy who dresses seemingly primitive, who has the most understanding
He's the most well-traveled.
of the
He's the
culture.
most educated.
Well,
not just the
right.
culture there,
Yeah.
but the culture in Britain and the culture
Knows
in
who
New
William
York.
Blake is.
Yeah. He knows he's been reading William Blake. Yeah.
And
like that a
then
lot.
you have Cole Wilson and Mr. Dickinson, and we've talked about already, but representations of both physical and social savagery. And speaking of physical and social savagery, I wanted to bring up a part of the beginning where we see the progress of civilization, the form of the train blazing through the frontier, while immediately being juxtaposed by the cruel actions of the passengers taking out the rifles and murdering the buffalo for sport. So that's where, that's another important piece there, because it's called back to, I think, throughout the movie subtly, but the idea of animal death throughout the movie, because we see the buffalo just being hunted for sport, but then we see how Blake empathizes with the dead fawn that he finds in the forest, where he's kind of resting next to it and almost like connecting with this animal, which is a direct opposite response to the passengers from the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on the idea of the animal deaths that we see in the movie?
Yeah, I thought it was symbolic when he took the blood from that fawn. And that became his kind of his war paint kind of a thing too. So you knew it was important. I didn't know why, or you know what I mean. That's how it is a lot with me. I see it, but I'm like, I don't know why.
Right.
But I knew it's important.
Yeah, it was some type of symbolic movement on to the next part. But yeah, that is kind of differentiating him between the stupid white men, you know.
And then the buffalo being shot for sport was definitely a vehicle for something too, to make you feel something.
This episode is brought to you by Labatt's.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Like, this is actually Bush.
Nobody
Want to get sued?
Nobody would even have heard this if you didn't mention it.
Or that. Bush.
We'll clear it up in post.
Wise.
What are you talking about? Bush.
For the mountains of Bush.
Bush Wise-ats.
Why is that? We'll clear this up in post.
I'm thinking,
Whatever.
I'm thinking of civilization versus savagery, and I know Vaz probably says still has more, but I'm just as I'm thinking about it, I don't want to forget how it's interwoven to me was like that's what I felt about it, the trope that Johnny Depp being human nature can be both civilized and brutal. It's like where they both meet this duality. It's like you're the same person, and in nobody's view, he's like you're William Blake.
Yeah.
So in nobody's view, he sees him as you've gone from being like that first scene there, where, poet and painter, now a killer of white men.
Yeah.
Same person.
I like though that the flashback or whatever, you see a picture of William Blake.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
Are you
okay,
sure
it's
nobody?
clearly- yeah. They didn't use a young picture of William Blake. They used the oldest picture. They used a picture where you're like, yeah, that can't be the right guy.
Tell me what you guys thought of the dual significance of tobacco in the movie.
Ooh. I mean, the one being the prayers for native indigenous population, something to carry the prayers.
Right.
And
That's what you use to give thanks.
Yeah,
That's what you
yeah.
use. Because my grandparents, my dad still does it too. Where if they go hunting and they kill something, you always sprinkle a little tobacco out as like a Thanksgiving. But that is what I kind of feel like is how nobody is trying to make him understand it. His understanding is I don't smoke. Like it's he's not seeing it correctly yet.
So the dual significance, you
Right.
got one cultured version of it where it's in a spiritual ceremony, and then you have the other side of it where it's like, well, I need it for my physical gratification. I need to get
it's my little vice. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So when nobody keeps asking him, do you have tobacco? It's him asking him, hey, you ready to move on yet?
Yeah.
And when he goes, I traded it away, he's like, no, you're lying. But it's, you're not there yet. You're not there yet.
And I didn't get that till late. I mean, that's not a surprise to any listeners that I didn't get that till late. But it's cool when I got it. I'm like, oh, I see what's happening.
I only
here.
got it when he got the tobacco. Like when he was like, when he actually
I see.
got it from the trading post.
Yeah.
It went from there. Like,
Well, even at
that's
that
it.
point, nobody asked for it. And he was like, no, I don't have any. But it was
It
kind
was
of
Johnny Depp was like,
only-
yeah.
only Johnny Depp could get that tobacco.
Right.
Nobody couldn't get it for him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, that's yeah. He needed to take those steps. He had to work out his own salvation, written
That's
on
right.
the door,
Written
of
on
the
the
same
door.
building.
That's exactly true. And that's
Yeah.
great. That's awesome filmmaking. Yeah, isn't it? It makes you feel like that.
Yeah,
too.
boss, take that.
Feels good, don't it?
Feels good, don't it?
Don't take this from me.
There's more of these out there. Don't take this Tin Man, listen to the first season.
We should do a Mystery Science Theater with Jim or the Tin Man watching the audio of the first season, and your shadow turning to him and saying, "What do you think about that?" Oh gosh.
Well, Tin Man, you did bring up one also earlier, was the use of black and white. Mm-hmm. And it fits this concept perfectly because all you see is contrast and shadow. And to play on the words here, you have the symbolic dark side of civilization shadowing Blake until the very end. That dark side of civilization is in Wilson, who's dressed in all black.
All black, yep.
Following our character, much like a shadow. So the duality that we see in civilization and savagery, I feel like it's pretty common in Western movies now that I remembered to bring it up. So if you look at a lot of movies, you have ideas where people they have morals or unspoken laws that they're trying to uphold, but then it's followed by, killing this makes me feel good, so I'm going to do it. You have these primal instincts that the people still act on.
Societal confines.
Mm-hmm. So, like, we talked a little bit about Tombstone, but in 3:10 to Yuma, you had the idea of progress where they're mining, but then you realize that it's all, I think it's slaves that are doing it. You know what scene I'm talking about? They're kind of going through the mountains a little bit with Casey. No, I know him as Casey Kelso. Wilson brother, not Owen Wilson. Luke Wilson.
Yeah.
So you have his character in there. That scene where it's like slavery that is making this stuff go. Same thing in Shanghai Noon, right? Where you had Princess Pee was among the slaves that were actually getting the progress done. We certainly see it in Hateful Eight. We certainly see it in Unforgiven, right? The guy's trying to lead a peaceful life on his farm when he's dragged into this journey of revenge. Quick and the Dead, we have Russell Crowe's character. He's a preacher.
Priest. Yeah, he's a preacher.
Yeah, and has this insane ability to just kill. I mean, I feel like the list kind of goes on. Good, the Bad, the Ugly, Django, Wind River, even Hell or High Water that we watched.
Oh yeah,
it's all got this idea of progress and expansion with a dirty, dark side of it. All right, our favorite part, theme and why.
Perfect. I'll go last.
Why? So you just say what he said.
Yeah. No, ditto. I'm with this guy. Yeah.
Well, I'll go with my theme, and I'll tell you why. And I'm going to use symbolism and music to make my point. I'm going to try to.
Yes.
Okay, so the ambiguity of life's journey is my theme.
Okay.
So the theme, what I get, the main driving thing that drives this whole movie to me is to show you how ambiguous the journey of life is. You have your goals, your dreams. You have trauma, whatever happened to him, and whatever it was that happened to him in Cleveland that made him start this. You had this letter saying this promise of a job. You have all this civility that he's bringing, looking down at the guy getting the BJ, looking at all this filth around him. And I'm going to do this because I got this good job. And then how quickly it turns on him, and how quickly he has within him the ability to kill and to do these potentially awful things.
Right.
Then this ability to have his mind opened by this person he would have never had in his life, nobody, and he developed the sensitivity to see things beyond what he would normally see in Cleveland, or even in his limited time out west in machinery. What is it? Machine.
Yeah.
the journey takes him on a lot of unexpected twists and turns. It has him kind of reassessing, and it felt like to me was like the whole purpose of, and it was brought about by like symbolism, right? So you have, to me, it was like the stars in the sky, right? And the star that went shooting. It's like maybe that's his dreams. Maybe that's the ideals of what he was hoping for. Maybe it's the fading of her dreams of making her flowers and making beautiful of what's her name? Fel. It might have been that, but I looked at it as if it's all about, the kids say you're not the main character. If it's all about Blake, then yeah, that was for him. That shooting star was for him, and that the sky full of stars as he fell, and the ground full of flowers were all about his journey. It's going to be laced with pleasure and pain. It's going to be laced with brutality, and it's going to be laced with civility. He's going to want to do right and do good things. He's going to feel bad when bad things happen. You see him like Vaz said for the fawn, feeling bad. He still had this compassionate side, and yet he still knew he had some killing to do. Remind me a little bit of, I'm getting off the beaten path here, but remind me a little bit of what Jordan Peterson says about being a man these days, like having the ability to be a force.
You want to be a monster.
The ability to be that and not be that.
Right.
But the ability to be that, otherwise you've ventured nothing.
A warrior in a garden versus a gardener in a war.
That's exactly it. It was like this idea of, and that stuck with me a little bit, like when I was hearing the teachings of nobody, like what he's kind of trying to teach Depp's character, I thought there's a lot of push and pull here, and I wanted to know more about what Jarmusch, the director, writer and director, I wanted to learn more. I didn't because I didn't want to skew so much of what I wanted to learn tonight and what I wanted to bring to the table.
I listened to maybe half an hour of it, and I got nothing from that.
But man, I really wanted to dig in there because the character he created with Farmer's character is as beautiful as a native depiction as I've seen, because he's just making an interesting person, not like this,
he just happens to be a native guy who's an interesting character.
That's exactly it, which I thought was cool. So then enter why I think the ambiguity of a life's journey. What affected me more than what I saw is what I heard.
Yeah.
And again, one of my heroes, I got to play a show with one of my musical heroes in Stephen Page. I won't get to play a show with Neil Young, I know that. But like another one of the reasons why I play music and love music so much, did the score and did the soundtrack for this thing, man. And that I did look into because I didn't think I was going to be hurt by that for this discussion. So I looked into that pretty deep about how he did this and what his process was. And it was so cool how, just his whole process of how he did this music.
Yeah, I think you watched it straight through.
And then had all these monitors in the room with an organ, a piano, and a harmonica and a guitar. And just like what he felt. And he wanted to play it like a silent film. Like I wanted to, like what he felt like a silent film was. Like there's no score. So he's just going to play it based on the emotion he felt. And I thought, that's why I felt the ambiguity, because the choices, the Pat's choices, the organic choices he made musically made me feel and directed my ear and directed my sensibilities. The music really carried that for me as he played different chords. And there's music theory. Ralph would be perfect for this, by the way. I cried a little bit thinking about this, preparing for this thought, because I don't understand music theory very well.
Shout out to the Grey Cat.
That's right. But like he would be able to say about like when a pattern of chord, when a chord progression isn't resolved, it leaves you uneasy on purpose because you're waiting for maybe the bridge or maybe a chorus or a solo to come up.
Right. Or that one note you think is supposed to land and it doesn't.
That's right. Yeah. And then when it doesn't, it's purposeful. And Neil Young's a genius. So you have this filmmaker who employed saying, I need this guy to do the score and the soundtrack. What else? No, just him. Whatever his vision is for this upon watching this film. And I'm like, that more than any of the symbolism or any of the story or any of the characters made me feel like you've employed this great bender of sound to bend it to make me feel like this is an ambiguous journey here. There's good, there's bad, there's harsh, there's soft, and all that was played with the organ and the piano and the guitar. I know that I'm going into like music, how that, but I can't say my theme without using music, because that guided me so much into what ambiguous is the word I looked. I probably had 7 or 8 different words and crossed out, and then ambiguous I struggled 5 or 6 times. I'm like, because it could go either way. You know, you have these series of choices you make, and you have these hopes and dreams, and you have this idealistic way that you want everybody to see you, but you also have this ability to be brutal if you need to be. Not proud of it, but I feel like I have some of that. Maybe I don't, but I feel like I do, and it's ambiguous. Life, the journey of life is ambiguous. That's my theme.
All right. Tim, man, you sure you want to go last?
No.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know if I could put my finger on a theme. I didn't spend any time trying to break down the theme, because I'd get so far and be like, okay, I don't know if this makes any sense, but I'll try the next scene. And if duality is a factor, if the contrast between the choices he made and the choices he's now forced to make have any bearing on it, it's the unknown dualities that he has to face that he might not have faced in his regular life. I don't know if there's something that he has to learn that he doesn't learn in this life, that he has to learn in this journey that he's on. But I don't know how to wrap that into a...
Yeah. Your thoughts are stars you can't form into constellations.
Right. It's those really dim stars that if you look directly at, you can't see them, but if you look away just to the side, you can see them more clearly. I don't know. That's all I got.
Okay.
I was locked in that exact mindset trying to come up with this.
He does this. This is what he does. He puts us in these spots where he's just like...
He locks us in, knowing what he's doing. He's like,
there's a variable missing in your equation that'll help solve
exactly
it. I'm like...
Here's an X, Tim.
Well, honestly, it's funny because probably at the same time that he knows it's like clockwork, when he sent out, I can't wait for tonight, I think you and I were both locked in that same space right there.
Yeah.
And he probably says that.
Because I'm not answering it either. I'm not even answering his questions.
And he sensed that. He's like, they're right where I want them right now.
I was like, no answer? I think I'm going to be talking a lot today.
Oh, help us out here, Vaz.
All right. Well,
send us
put some lipstick on this pig.
Send us on the canoe.
This movie
Give us
has
some
tons
tobacco.
of different interpretations, and like we always say with depth perception, there is no right answer here. It's what you perceive out of every movie. So all we do is we offer up to 3 different ways of seeing a movie, understanding a movie, looking into a movie. We're not experts, and everyone could be way off. I could be way off. Things could just be there out of chance. But this is how I saw it anyway. So I have the journey of death is a synchrony of acceptance and nature. So we get a balance of 2 mindsets throughout the movie. And I kind of mentioned before, but you can start at the end and work backwards. Nobody and Cole Wilson both gun each other down as Blake goes down the river or lake, whatever it is. And they even fall at the same time and in the same way. So you can perceive each man representing a mindset around death. Nobody is a civil, cultured, and humble perspective, while Cole brings a quality of fear, inevitability, and savagery. As you travel backwards with this perspective in mind, you can see the ways that this kind of happens. So we talked about how nobody keeps asking if Blake has the tobacco, and tobacco is misinterpreted as only used to smoke rather than the context of which nobody was actually asking him. So the tobacco he's referring to as in used in ceremony, like passing into the spirit world, we'll say, is the final thing that Blake needs to be ready in his journey of death here. So what he's doing throughout the movie is kind of checking in, like, hey, you ready to keep moving? Like, do you have enough, do you have enough acceptance of your life so far that you're ready to, keep going here, keep going down the river. Cole, on the other hand, was rumored and found to be guilty of eating human flesh. And that's a quality that is associated with the natural circle of life. Maybe not the human flesh specifically, but the general concept of predator and prey relationship where one consumes the other. So from this perspective, death is another aspect of life, as unforgiving as it may be. You can also look at the two characters' origins. Nobody, like we said, is cultured, not just from his own blood, but as he was taken away by white man society and learned their ways, because he went to England, I believe, and then to the big city. And so he's learned all these different ways of thinking and cultures. Whereas Cole starts at the town of Machine. He probably had other origins, but the only origins we get is how good he is at hunting down men. Speaking of the town of Machine, this is a place decorated with bones and skulls and bodies of animals. Like, he gets to Machine, and the first building you see just has hundreds of antlers decorated on it.
Yeah.
And we go into Mr. Dickinson's office, and there's just taxidermied animals all over the place, including our bear.
Our precious bear.
And so that building, the metalworks, the town, it's filled with the savagery of economy and society. And of course, it's filled with the harsh steel of Mr. Dickinson. There's, we talked about him talking to the bear, but the way it's shot to me was kind of speaking in metaphor about Mr. Dickinson, because he's shown in front of the bear, almost like as if you were to write a poem, write a line about likening Mr. Dickinson to the ruthlessness of like a grizzly bear. Like, how would you, if you were to translate that from a poem to visually, how would you do it? It's pretty much how they did it in this movie. It was like he's talking to them like standing over them like a grizzly bear. Yeah.
He also had that full-size painting of himself.
Yeah.
Identical how he looks when he walks in on the back wall.
Yeah, that's right.
And I mentioned that, I forget the character name, but Michael Wincott's character drawing attention to it. Like, rawr. So it's deliberate to make the audience say, okay, there's the connection. Here's this guy and here's that bear, and look how terrifying they both are.
I was going to quote Wilson, but you're going to have to bleep it out.
Tell me.
It's just like, fuck me, fuck you.
That's just everyday speak from you, though. We go from.
I cleaned it up for the pod.
We do it for the pod.
For the pod.
The pod.
From the moment Blake wakes up to nobody trying to dress his wound, I feel like Blake is on a journey both physically and intellectually. The idea that the bullet is still lodged in Blake's chest lets us know that the time is ticking for his life. And we see symbolic signs that Blake starts to understand or at least accept death. He sees his own wanted poster, shows that he understands that death is coming for him. Wearing a fur while also wearing a top hat and dressing his face in the, I guess it was blood then, shows a balance of nature and civilization, like just from a visual standpoint. And finally, we see Blake obtain the tobacco for his own ceremony, much like you obtain the coins to cross the river Styx to give to the boatman, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's cool, just from a cultural standpoint, that things like that kind of cross over.
I think that is really cool.
And I mentioned before that this was something that nobody could do for Blake. Blake had to be the one to do it. And the clerk, like we said, thematically even, wouldn't allow nobody to get the tobacco for him. It had to be Blake that gets the tobacco himself. And I wanted to note that understanding of death was not necessarily a quality described throughout the movie. Only acceptance. Because there's a moment relatively earlier in the trip with Nobody where he says, he flat out tells Nobody, I haven't understood a word you said since the moment I met you. And then even at the end, Blake is in the canoe and he's kind of floating away. There's that sense of acceptance that he's just in this canoe, and but again, the understanding of it isn't there because he asks him again, "I don't smoke." Yeah, but I don't smoke as he's drifting away. And I love how the movie does so much to speak to different aspects of death. There's the use of chance, luck, and mistakes. You may recall many odd, almost poetic events that happen throughout the movie that are caused by either mistake or chance. The first trio that Blake comes across, nobody is the one that accidentally shoots Iggy Pop.
Yeah.
And Blake just happens to sleep with Mr. Dickinson's future daughter-in-law. The marshals end up shooting each other. Well, he shoots the one, and then the marshal shoots the other marshal. Yeah. So as it relates to death, you could argue it pertains to the nature of death. The suddenness, the unbiased, punishing, unforgiving.
Yeah. Okay.
There was the sense of innocence throughout the movie too, of life, the fragility of it, with the fawn that we had mentioned, and then Thel from the beginning, where at first it seemed like she was kind of a hardened resident of this harsh town, but it turns out you go on the inside and she's got dreams and aspirations, and she's got this artistic side. And obviously this beauty, and
seemingly had her heart broken by the guy leaving.
Right.
Yeah.
So this innocence, this fragility, this youthfulness, and kind of this mirrored by the fawn, right? The got its whole life ahead of it, and it's just laying there lifeless. And I got the sense from a natural perspective of death that the ruthlessness of life doesn't cater to the innocent nor the kind-hearted. Much like Blake himself, he comes to this town like, I'm here for the job. Here's my paper, and he's dressed nicely to impress, and these people don't care,
No. Just laughed at him.
Clown suit you got on?
Yeah.
From Cleveland. Yeah. And I also found an idea of reflection of one's life during the movie as well, where we see Blake reciting his meeting with Mr. Dickinson. He's got this where he's just talking to himself, going over that conversation, whether it be how he could have done it better, or how impactful it was, or what he wished had happened. Either way, you see him kind of reflecting on that moment. And one of the easiest symbols to pick up on, the use of glasses you see in this movie, right? And there's a point where Nobody takes his glasses on him and says, maybe you'll see better without them. So very on the nose, perhaps you got the wrong lens on.
Right. Hey, that should be a byline for us. That perception, perhaps you got the wrong lens. T-shirt design.
And I think there's this idea of confusion, questioning, when people pass, this aspect of why me? Why I'm not ready? This grasping for more answers as you're passing. And again, I think that's reinforced with the running joke of Blake not knowing what the tobacco is used for. I think that kind of reinforces that, where you may still be looking for answers as you pass on. And the final piece I'll use to support the use of accepting death was the final moments of Mr. Dickinson's son that you mentioned. And you even pointed it out that he doesn't move. He shoots Thel, gets shot at, doesn't move, gets shot at again, doesn't move, and then finally gets hit in the neck. So to me, it was like he accepted what's going to happen next based on his action. And again, he gets hit in the neck, and instead of firing back as a form of vengeance, like, oh, you got me, like, I need to get you back, it was kind of, that's it, and falls to his death. So all of this together, and, you know, I talked about the duality. That's what leads me to say the journey of death is a synchrony of acceptance in nature. And I say journey of death because that's, like we mentioned before, the Odyssey.
Yeah.
You know, it's him going on this mental and physical journey of what death is about, and the different aspects of it, and everything associated with passing into the next phase, I guess.
I think my favorite part about your theme is the acceptance of it, not the understanding of it. I mean, isn't that the big thing about death? Is like you can accept it, you can move, you can grieve, right? But even without understanding it, because I think part of, I'm not a trauma counselor, I'm not a counselor at all, but part of the reason why some people can't, we talk about Great Cat, we talk about Ralph, whatever, our friend. Part of some of the things when I go down a bad path, when I start hurting more, is when I try to make sense of it. I try to understand it. You just can't understand it or make sense of some things. Death is like that. You can accept it, though. You can say, this is the reality. This is where we're at right now, and you can accept it. And throughout your when you were describing your theme there, I think it was really cool to differentiate between accepting it and understanding it, because you won't ever understand it, I don't think.
If we understood what death meant spiritually, then we'd all either do it or not do it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. That's good. Good. Well done.
Yeah.
Does that spark anything with your wording on what you were feeling for the movie? Or?
Yeah. It puts borders on the vague cloud that is the idea that I'm looking at. So I do like that, though.
I'm curious.
It doesn't outright oppose my understanding of it, which helps.
and with Tin Man, that's a win. That's a huge win right there. It doesn't fly in the face of what I was thinking. It's cool how I think we all three of us kind of arrived at a similar spot, like the journey, right? Like the whole idea of the journey.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because of the our native perspective that we look at it as a journey. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know if that's a unique thing. I think I'd be interested to see what listeners assess there, if they feel similarly.
I might look into more interviews from, is it Jarmusch? Is that what you said? Jim
I think
Jarmusch,
so.
just to see if there's validation for the journey that we went on.
I want to find out a little bit more about how he.
I mean, it can't not be that far off, but I still would like to hear his.
Yeah.
Like if he has a exact, wording or understanding for this section, for that part, for this. Like, that I actually had an instance in my life which led to this point. Like, okay, that makes sense why you got here. It'd be nice to hear. It'd be neat to hear his side of it too. Or even without it, I think that's the fact that all three of us were this close to it. Vaz being a little.
Well, I always feel when we come close to what Vaz says, I'm like, we're
three of us
in a pretty good
we're
spot.
close to him. Yeah,
I
I think nobody's my favorite Indian.
That's what K-Max was saying before you walked in.
Did I not just say that when I walked in today? Before you got here, I told
your
Vaz.
Favorite Indian?
Nobody. He came in. Yeah, nobody.
Wasn't that a line
That might be his.
There's another T-shirt.
I think wasn't that a line from Smoke Signals though?
He says it to
who's
his
your
son.
favorite Indian?
Yeah.
He says nobody.
I don't know if he says nobody, but he says
It's something along those lines, I think.
Oh man, that's wonderful.
I know his answer is he doesn't have a favorite Indian, but I don't know. He might say those exact words. Nobody.
That'd be cool.
I came right in and I told Vaz when I walked in. I said, I said a couple things, and I said, it was neat that the filmmaker created probably my favorite depiction of a Native American in film with this character. just because he was. And James, it's funny, he wasn't here when I said it.
No.
Because he almost said it verbatim about a half hour ago, saying he just made an interesting character. He didn't care that he was specifically a native, or if he wasn't this stoic, or he wasn't this romanticized version. He was just an interesting character. Hey, he happened to be native, and it happened to fit the story nicely. He's out west.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I
This is
think
a little.
there is more to it.
This is a little. What's it called right here? In Smoke Signals, 1998, Victor's father asked him who his favorite Indian is. Victor responds with nobody. Gary Farmer, who played Victor's father, also played an Indian named Nobody in the 1999 film Dead Man.
Oh, that's interesting. That's
We
kinda
nailed
cool.
it, man. We got it. Who's your favorite Indian? Nobody. I agree, Victor.
That's right.
There's a duality there. His understanding of it is that nobody, because he doesn't like Indians, he's hating his father at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Our understanding is on the other side of it.
That's
We
right.
agree it's nobody.
Ah, man.
The duality.
Let's go. We deserve
Look at
a
that.
cake.
We deserve
We deserve freaking cake or sprinkles. Winners get sprinkles.
Winners get sprinkles.
We should have sprinkles. Right now, Vaz is like,
Sprinkle
you
us,
children.
Corey.
Jeez. What's the next? What do we got next here, Vaz?
Tin Man put wedding cake creamer in his
in my
Oh,
coffee.
that's right.
That's right.
See, I didn't go there because
There
it was,
weren't any sprinkles in it. But
I wanted that, but there was foil still. It was still foil wrapped, and I didn't have the guts to ask.
I opened it up and said, "Oh, it's not open yet." He's like, "You can open it," and so that's why
I
got
should have done
the
that.
freshest. I got the first fruits.
Oh,
top
you
of
sure did.
The cream on top.
I went with Amaretto, and I don't have any regrets.
That's a good one. That's a good
Not
one.
bad. Not
I don't
bad.
have amaretto in there.
Oh.
Did you bring your own?
Oh, no, Kahlua.
Yeah.
Kahlua.
You
Non-alcoholic.
brought your own?
Non-alcoholic Tin Man.
I put a little bit of both in there.
Shout out to Liquid Death. This is cherry obituary flavor. Oh
my
favorite,
goodness.
by the way. That is my
Now,
favorite.
did you
Liquid Death
pick
flavor.
Liquid Death because we're reviewing Dead Man?
That's absolutely true.
Or is this just
why.
another bit of chance?
No, that is a skull on the can of one of the guys eaten by Wilson.
During my second watch, the kids were kind of running in and out because the missus was in the same room, so they'd come in, ask for something, and leave. And I was trying to mute it so they didn't hear anything. Of course, my daughter walks in. Wilson's chewing on the hand. He's eating that guy. I was like, oh, darn.
Honey,
It's not a
he's
real guy.
chomping him.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of?
Yeah,
now,
but they're all bad.
Yeah, but they were all bad.
20 points to whoever gets that reference.
Is
Come
that
on,
for the fans? 'Cause
Gryffindor.
I know it. Yeah, but they were all bad. I can get it better. I can do it better.
Well, K-Max, you kind of talked about it already.
I know.
But how about our use of music and poems in here? Tin Man. I'm going to hit you first then.
Yeah, I thought it was weird. It's like twangy.
He was definitely offbeat, right?
And then I was like, it segued certain scenes oddly. It was definitely intentional, very intentional, because there was nothing about it that I was like, it never faded into the background. It was almost like it was an exclamation point on the end of a sentence, or if it was.
I feel like he had a motif in there a little bit.
Yeah.
But that was about as cohesive as that got, though. Other than that, it was based on K-Max emotion, feeling, reaction to what you're being shown.
It also sounded like it's probably not Desperado. That original one, El Mariachi, where it has kind of had that sound to it, that same similar I don't want to say low quality. I don't want to say that. It was it had a lot of distortion to it, and it was twangy Western. It felt Western. It felt like a very strong Western vibe to it. But I don't know. I don't know. It felt like it illuminated the scene, but I don't know if I felt like it had more meaning to it.
Well, to me, the idea behind it lended itself to feeling more like a journey.
Okay.
Like it was telling a story. So, shout out here to Tonema, But a couple of his shows I've been to, he does that where you're telling a story, but you're kind of playing a couple notes in the background as you're telling the story.
Okay.
So it kind of reminded me of that.
Oh, okay.
Where,
all right.
It helps you to listen to the story, but it's not, well, to me anyway, it wasn't such a distraction. It was kind of there as glue for what you're seeing on the screen, to connect your own reaction and emotions to what's there. And I think in general that's what music does, but in this specific movie, it felt like that's what it was doing, was kind of making a journey out of it.
But it never felt like a score. It never felt like it drifted to the background and brought the scene up. It never felt like it was like a hidden thing that you didn't realize was bringing the scene up. It was very right there. Like how like I don't know, like horror notes and stuff will bring the scene up, but you're not paying attention to it. It was very obvious when the music came in. Like it was very clear that the notes were there intentional.
I like too that. So moving on a little bit away from music and into the poetic side of Dead Man. You had nobody speaking in maxim and proverbs throughout the movie, and then you had the line, and this kind of relates to our themes a bit, but every morning and every night, some are born to endless night. Mm-hmm. Or every morning and every night, some are born to sweet delight. Mm-hmm. So kind of this idea of, life is chance. Life is, it's luck. Where you are, what you're born into. Mm-hmm. And so you have the music. You have this poem reciting, because he takes other lines from the works. But you find out that it's from certain pieces. So William Blake's Proverbs of Hell, and then you have the Book of Thel was also, obviously Thel. And this was another string that I left unpulled so I can pull it, because I think I try to do some quick research on what these pieces are, what they mean, what their overall messages are, anything specific about them that was a motif throughout the movie. And it sounds like I'm going to have to do quite a bit of research, like actually go through these works and analyze them by themselves and understand them before I can relate them to Dead Man.
I did a little bit of that too, which is I didn't want to jump into thematic and stuff so much because I didn't want to skew things. Mm-hmm. But I love the connection with music. I love when I saw these questions on here this week. I'm like, yay, I might be able to actually bring something to the table, because what I learned about that particular poem is from his collection Songs of Innocence and Experience. Mm-hmm. And that poem, that collection of poems from Robert Blake, not this character, was the inspiration for
Robert Blake is the killer guy, isn't he?
Oh, well, yeah, right.
Robert Blake's the former actor killer.
The actor, yeah, on the boat.
Yeah. William Blake.
Yeah.
He said Robert.
Maybe
Blake.
Both said these things. Maybe they both did, Tin Man. You ever think about that?
Well, you weren't there when he said it.
Yeah. Geography.
But the U2 album Songs of Innocence has a lot of references to a lot of the poems of William. I call him Billy Blake. William Blake. Which I thought was cool. You know what I mean? They pulled from a similar...
And we have that innocence that we spoke about with the fawn and Thel herself.
Yeah. And experience. Songs of Innocence and of Experience. It's like, yeah, he's getting a lot of experience.
So that's a string that I intend to pull at a later date to see how much of that works into the movie itself. But I think the movie in general, though, is poetic in its style. With the use of imagery and motifs, symbolism, unspoken, I'll say unspoken metaphors and similes. Because like I said, it's, if you were to write what you're seeing, it would come off as poetic, or, you know, you're describing Mr. Dickinson as fierce as a bear, or nobody is making love like a beast. Thel as gentle as a flower.
Somebody is.
The journey of death is like a canoe ride. So you have these metaphors and similes throughout the movie that, if you were to describe what you're seeing, would come off as poetic. And just this idea of a woman who creates paper flowers with the aspiration of selling them one day, and references to the sunset. That was Wincott's character was talking about the sunset, I think. And it evokes the sense of insight and thought. And I already mentioned how nobody speaks in maxim. I can't recall any of the specific lines that he says.
Other than the weapon will replace your tongue, and you will learn to speak through it. Your poetry will now be written in blood.
There we go.
There's one.
I mean, maybe not a maxim per se, but
In
a very poetic
riddles.
way.
I'm looking for just quotes from him, and it's like he's got to have a whole bunch of lines where he's like, I don't understand anything you're saying.
Yeah. J-Max, you got anything, any other insights about music and
poetry? Poeticness of it? No. You can't read 12 pages of this and then be like, all right, throw something at me that I haven't covered yet.
I ask you to go before I go. And you're like, I got some things. Nothing really, though. How about you?
The poetry of it all.
So the plot structure. Tin Man.
Just disagree.
Lead the lesson for us.
All right, so the plot structure. Okay, go ahead.
I'll point out. So there's a difference between plot and story. So plot is like the skeleton of the story with like the events, and story is all-encompassing. It's like the body of the narrative, the details, you know, the characters.
The numbers, the figures.
So that's, I think that's my favorite analogy of it, is plot is the skeleton, story is the body.
Okay. Because it is holding it up.
Yeah. So in this one, we have, and you know, this is a very crude plot structure that I'm going to lay out for Dead Man, and let me know if you agree.
Cool.
Protagonist's life is suddenly altered. Protagonist is dead, dying, or in limbo. Protagonist befriends a character who guides the hero through a reflection of life. Protagonist experiences or observes several meaningful events to their understanding of life. Protagonist learns a lesson about life and or death. Protagonist accepts death or changes view on life or death. As the basic outline, the basic structure for Dead Man.
I agree with that. That being a, I'm on board with that all the way through. Yeah. I don't even know what I would add to it.
Well, I think that it makes me more confident in some of the movies that I felt were similar after hearing what Vaz said about kind of like what the plot structure is.
Mm-hmm.
Hit me with one.
Maybe not. Oh, okay. So
we'll kind of go see if we go in a circle here.
I'm going to steal one of. I don't know why I do this to you. I'm going to steal one of Tin Man's because I thought to myself when it came to mind, it was like the third one that came to mind. I'm like, this is going to be one of Tin Man's for sure. But I thought Book of Eli had a feel of that to me in several ways, not just the black and white, but it had that bit of a structure to me that kind of you're going on a journey. There's going to be a journey of, there's going to be some transition that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to usher you there step by step. So that was the first one I thought.
Okay.
Okay.
It made me had a feel of it.
Tin Man, could you think of one?
Yeah, like Christmas Carol. So it kind of had that feeling where he had died. He had to reflect on things in life, had to reflect on his understanding of life, where what he understood or what he misunderstood needed to be clarified. Mm-hmm. There was a journey he needed to accomplish. He was guided his way through it, and a type of rebirth had happened from like the acceptance and understanding of the new information.
That's awesome.
Nice.
We both kind of took each other's kind of favorite movies,
I
right
like
there.
Yeah, that was one of yours. Yeah.
What's happening?
Okay, Max, I'm going to take another one of yours.
Oh, good.
But I'll let you describe it.
And Robert Mitchum is in 2 versions of this as well.
Isn't that true? Hot dog,
so I'm
Jiminy
gonna
Cricket.
I'm gonna lay it out there and let you fill it in. Actually, The Fault in
Fat
Our
a quarter.
Stars.
Oh, I love that. Wonderful.
Yeah. How about that?
My gosh. That's probably my favorite. Not just the book, but the movie. Everything about it. Man, I'm giddy. Downright giddy.
So, how do you see the plot structure of Dead Man relating to Fault in Our Stars?
Well, I mean, you have... okay, so here's my first thing right off the bat is that they're both based on like a book, like a literature. Like Dead Man had a whole collection of poems and poetry. And in Fault in Our Stars, a lot of their characters' interaction were based on a book, Imperial Affliction. That's the first thing I think. Second thing is that they're experiencing death. It is a journey. It's how you deal with the journey. Like this is a journey on death. You're heading this way. I got to fast track a little bit, but you're all heading there. How are you dealing with it together, and what are you learning along the way? I mean, that's how they're similar. There's probably more.
I think the idea of acceptance versus understanding.
Yeah,
is kind of
jeez.
one.
I mean, that's one of the heaviest movies out of. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the young people. But like it's like as it's happening, like they have that living funeral when they're having the funeral for Augustus, and just his buddy goes up there, and the way he delivers it is almost like there's so much wisdom in that. And John Green's such a jackass to have someone who I feel is very similar to me. His love for kids, like for young people, like his wanting to see young people thrive, finding ways to get them to thrive. And, he was in ministry and he was in counseling. Him and his brother are like 2 of the best educators and literacy advocates in the world. Anyway.
Now, do you see any similarities between Willem Dafoe's character and, say, Robert Mitchum's character?
Yeah, I think so. I think so because Willem Dafoe is kind of like this sage. He's the author of, he's almost like the mirror, like almost the precipice, the jumping off point. He is the, you got to go through this, what he brings to the table in order to experience and to understand, to accept, I guess.
I haven't seen, no, I think I've seen some of this movie in the past. Is that like the author of the book they were reading? Mm-hmm. And then they went to go visit him.
Yep, he was in...
And I remember thinking they had a very negative interaction.
Horrible.
With him. Okay. I
think it's very similar because he was supposed to be this person that these people go to for answers and...
Almost like the Wizard of Oz, I thought.
Yeah, to kind of,
so he's the solution,
here's where I
some kind
start
of solution
fresh.
to their problems.
Yeah.
Like
So-
the guy at the job.
Like her dying wish was to have answers of what happens to these characters next. Because in the book the book of her life that brought these 2 lovers together, these young lovers together, it cuts off in the middle of a sentence to symbolize her dying.
Like their death. Okay.
The death.
Yeah.
And so she's just, if I could have anything, she's like, it sounds stupid. She's telling this boy that she fell in love with, it would be to meet him, this author, and find out what happens. And so his agent invites them in as the person, as the author, and invites these 2 young people over. He uses his cancer wish with the genies, they call them, like
Yeah.
Make-A-Wish Foundation,
Yeah.
to take her over there to Amsterdam to visit him.
So, my thought was that the boy that she falls in love with, it was kind of like the nobody character, the person
nice.
that guides her a little bit to some acceptance, to some understanding.
Man, I can't wait
And
to circle back on this.
but just like in Dead Man, though, they arrive to this place for a face-to-face meeting with this person, and this person just
Choose them up.
poops all over their dreams, right? And like, nope, your answer isn't here. Move it along. It's not here. So I thought that was a pretty cool.
It actually becomes a catalyst, right? He actually becomes the catalyst for what drives to the end. Otherwise, it would have never happened. Mm-hmm. God help me! I gotta watch that movie again. Both of them.
Nice.
with a dead man's lens.
And I gotta be honest, boss man. This is my high point of the pod here. Hearing that movie, which I don't know how people would take it. Whatever, try to watch it though, guys. It's great. It's good. It gives you a little bit of perspective into how some people deal with hard things. And you can still see the beauty in really hard things. Maybe not understand it, you can accept it.
So now that I've stolen one of your movies, I'll give one of my own. Jacob's Ladder.
Ooh, wait a minute now.
I've never seen it.
It's a good one.
It's an exercise thing.
Tim Robbins, right?
Yeah.
I have worked on it. I think it's a Jacob's Ladder exercise machine.
Oh,
Probably just as horrifying.
it is horrifying.
If I'm thinking what it is, it's it's like a Stairmaster ladder.
If you were going to say Descent into Hell,
It's an ascent to hell.
Yeah.
maybe you're using it wrong.
Upside down. I've been using it upside down.
The ladder actually hangs from the ceiling.
Yeah, climb it down. Forever.
But that movie starts off with the character in limbo, and all these different things happen to him. And there's lessons on life and death, and
Man, oh
it
man.
has a lot to do with
I remember hearing it was a very depressing type of movie.
well, it's a
Jacob's
movie
Ladder.
about descending into what death means and the hollowness of it and
Sounds wonderful.
the connections with hell and all of that. So yes, it is dark, but to me felt a lot of the same ways here because he has K-Max. Have you seen Jacob's
I
Ladder?
have.
Who's the actor that plays his? Was it a chiropractor or his doctor, whoever it
It's
is?
his doctor friend, like a little.
But that would be his guide.
Nobody.
Yeah,
His
That
nobody,
would be his
yeah.
nobody.
It's a famous actor.
I know. It's some.
Is Lieutenant Google on the case?
Let's go, please. I won't rest.
I know it's a famous name too.
I don't know how that didn't come to mind because it's almost like the same study.
Like he's very much in limbo.
Yeah.
And he does find like a sense of peace towards the end.
Yep. Oh, I have.
It's I don't know. There's a George Costanza. It's not Jason Alexander.
I think
I don't know
he's
who
in
the
it,
actor
but
is. I can just see pictures of everybody.
Name some off.
Their real names are there.
Yep.
Danny Aiello.
That's it.
That is him. Yep. Yep. I think of the guy that had the heartburn in Dumb and Dumber with the peppers.
Oh, is that him?
I think so.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's Danny Aiello.
Oh, okay. Is it really? I thought he was the mob guy from Goodfellas that was like, I sliced the onions real thin and they blend into the. I thought that was the guy.
Well, K-Max, you're up.
All right, so mine isn't a movie, but I have to say it because it gives me the same vibe and it has the same bit of a plot structure. And I would love if you guys would. I think it's only about 20 minutes, maybe 18 minutes. It's a radio show, the old radio broadcast of the 30s and 40s. It's from the Orson Welles radio show, The Hitchhiker. It's not the Hitchhiker movie. It's not the Hitchhiker film series, miniseries. It's a radio show written by Lucille Fletcher. It gave me a very similar haunting feel that Dead Man did. I'll tell you a little bit about it if I could. So, a man, he's a salesman in New York City, and he's telling his mother he's about to drive across country for a sale. She's worried about him. Be careful. He says, I'll be fine, Mom. Stop. You worry too much. As he leaves, he's making this journey. As he leaves, he swerves to avoid a person on the Brooklyn Bridge. You know nothing that there's anything significant of that, but you get recalled to that moment probably halfway through the story. Because on that bridge, who he swerved to avoid on that bridge was, there was a hitchhiker who was standing right in the lane. And so he swerved, and he's this hitchhiker. So anyway, he gets to PA he's driving out of New York City. He's driving through PA, and he's probably about 2 hours into his journey. And on the side of the road, he sees that same hitchhiker, and you hear, "Hello," and he's like, he goes, "I could have sworn I saw him." He goes, there was rain on his jacket, just like on the bridge. It was a rainy day when I left. There was rain on his brim of his hat. And he's talking, and it's Orson Welles narrating, and he drives a little bit. He gets into like Indiana, the Midwest, and he said, as I tell you this, I tell you I'm perfectly sane. He's recalling the story, and he's telling the story like almost like to his phone, or almost to document it, to say I'm not losing my mind here. And then it comes to life. It comes to like present time, and he's putting coins in the payphone because he's losing his mind. Cause there's a lot of things that happen up to this point, and he's seen this hitchhiker across the country, and it's freaking him out. And he even picks up like a rider with him to help him stay awake, and then he swerves to try to hit the hitchhiker because he's like, "There's something not right here." He's losing his mind, so he calls home, and it goes, "Extension so and so." He goes, "Put me into this thing." And it's the old phone, and the operator goes, 35 more cents. So you hear click, click the coins, and you hear bing, bing, bing. So it's almost like this creepy, he's paying the toll to find this wisdom, right? And it picks up, and it says, "So-and-so residence. May I help you?" He goes, "Yes, may I speak to so-and-so, Jane," whatever the mom's name is. "Who I can ask who's calling?" "This is her son, Simon." "Jane's not here. Who's calling?" "This is her son." "This is some kind of cruel joke." "Why?" "No, this is her son. It can't be. He died 6 days ago. He was in a wreck on the Brooklyn Bridge. He swerved to avoid, or something like that. And she's been in the mental asylum. She lost her mind when she lost her only son. And so he's like, "No, it can't be." And the lady hangs up in hysterics. He hangs up the phone. And the guy goes into this Orson Welles soliloquy talking about, "I don't know where I am. So here I sit out this gas station outside of New Mexico, and he goes, and I know he's out there somewhere waiting for me to drive by." It's just like he's facing his own mortality. He's in this purgatory. You don't know
like a weird Black Mirror Twilight Zone.
And the odd part about it is that the words don't give it justice. But if you listen to the radio show, it gives you the same vibe that I felt throughout this whole movie. And that's the only way I made the connection that he's journeying toward death here. He's almost you could almost say he's almost in a purgatory of some sorts as he's making these discoveries. And that's how I felt about The Hitchhiker.
Oh, okay.
It's not a movie, but I did see they did make a version of it. I think maybe Twilight Zone series made a version of it.
Huh.
But there's nothing better than at Halloween time in my English class we listened to the old radio show.
Oh, nice.
And they love the students just love it. They love it. They turn off the lights, you know what I mean? And I draw the things, and it's quiet in there. And I said, you teach them the power of the spoken word. I said, it's not dead, guys. This is someone read this from a script, from a radio play. So that was one that made me feel that way. I don't know if there's a lot of evidence, but
that's cool.
Give it a listen.
Yeah. Tin Man.
One more?
Got another one?
I'll say Wizard of Oz.
Ooh. A vase, by the way.
Wizard of Oz. So some part of me kind of thought that the characters in the story were people, or if not, represented people in his real life, in his outside life. So it
Of
kind of like
hers?
how,
Of her?
No.
Dorothy's?
Well, Dorothy's, they are the same people.
Yeah.
It's literally the same people, but put in like different roles.
Yeah.
And throughout this weird journey that she's on. And her story kind of carries in a weird way. Oh, you just travel down this road. You have to solve this weird thing. It's like kind of, she's like not a super active character. She's not making the choices and the plans. They're just kind of like brought to her, and she's kind of passive the way through. Where he's kind of brought onto this weird journey, and I kind of thought like, well, maybe all these characters that he's coming across are, if not actual representative people of what he had to deal with in his life. The use of color and black and white, we're like, oh, the real world's over here, and the dream world, or the the state that she's in, and where there's some type of problem, struggle, journey, something she has to accomplish while in this state before coming back to
That's cool.
the reality that she's in. But that the conflict occurs not on this plane, but on the next one, kind of thing. I thought it was
a good one.
idea.
I like it.
That one didn't cross my mind. I think it's an excellent one.
Well, Tin Man, I stole one of K-Max's. I made him fill in the blanks. Now I'm going to steal one of your movies. Make you fill in the blanks. It's one of your favorites. It's one of your most influential
Tremors?
movies. It's The Sixth Sense.
I thought the same thing. I was going to say Tremors.
Oh man, I've just been watching Band of Brothers and
The Sixth Sense.
and Donnie Wahlberg playing the ghost that he sees, the one in the underwear, the one that that represents the boy he couldn't save.
It is the boy you couldn't save.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, he doesn't know it's the boy he couldn't save, Haley Joel Osment, but he was just in the show I was watching just before. So anyway, yeah. But yeah, no, I like that. Explain to me, why do you think that Sixth Sense represents?
You stole my line.
Okay.
Explain to me why you think The Sixth Sense.
Oh, you're giving me a
Yeah,
thing.
I've let you fill in the blanks for that.
Oh, okay. The understanding of death, understanding of people after they've gone, what they have left to, almost like they're haunting. What's left of them is a haunted version that is unresolved. So their bodies, or whatever's left of them, is stuck in the state that it's unsatisfied, unknowing, unable to move on. The only person that can see them is this kid who's...
Well, I feel like that might be a little bit more towards story, but the plot structure of it is, I think it's very related. You have his life was suddenly altered with this moment where, as the patient he couldn't save.
Yeah. Okay, yeah,
changes
from Bruce Willis. Yeah, okay.
And then we know that he's in limbo, right? He's dead, and he's just kind
Spoiler alert.
But he befriends a character that kind of gives him some perspective on life and death.
Yeah.
Because I forget his name in the movie, but Haley Joel Osment kind of sees how other people, it's almost, it seems like he's trying not to tell Bruce Willis he's dead, but he's like, other dead people have these unresolved things, and, they have this and that, and that's how they deal with death and whatever. Not saying that you're dead, so
they don't know they're dead.
Yeah,
but they
right.
Present company excluded.
But nobody kind of does the same thing,
Yeah.
Like, got your tobacco yet for your trip? No, okay. Very, very similar.
That is good. That's right on.
And then at the end is finally able to accept death, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was that one. There's one called
That's a good movie.
The Seventh Seal. Have you guys heard of this?
Never
I've heard of it, never seen it.
So I won't go too deep into it because I think it is worth a watch. But it's Ingrid Bergman?
Engelbert Humperdinck.
I just watched Princess Bride the other day, too.
Nice.
Humperdinck.
Humperdinck.
Inconceivable.
Offer me money. Offer me power.
No, offer me coffee. So The Seventh Seal, directed by Ingmar Bergman. Starring Max von Sydow.
Ooh.
You guys recognize him?
Minority Report.
Exorcist. He was in The Force Awakens.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Right, I am thinking of the same guy, right? Huh. I'm not going to recognize him from this movie. 1957.
He looks pretty much the
Ah,
same.
that is him. Yeah, no, that's the guy.
But he's just ageless, apparently. But
I think he's dead.
I'll give you the synopsis anyway.
Okay.
A knight, this is straight from IMDb. A knight returning to Sweden after the Crusades seeks answers about life, death, and the existence of God as he plays chess against the Grim Reaper during the Black Plague.
That sounds cool, man.
Ooh.
So,
Oh, he did. He did die in 2020.
That sounds super cool.
so I'll leave the premise as that, but it very, like I said, the plot structure kind of relates to the same thing there.
Man, I got to see that. That sounds like an interesting.
I think it's on Max. I think it might have it as well. Okay, Max, you got any other movies that have this plot
It's,
structure?
again, mostly book made into a bad movie, but the book, when I read it, I get that. Again, it's a feel, right? And there's a lot of structure that is similar to it, and so it's Cormac McCarthy's The Road.
Oh yeah.
Feels like that a little bit. Now, there's not as much blatant journey, but some things that happen to him and his son. It's this I guess the dystopian future. To borrow Tin Man's word, it's true. He uses it correctly. I just don't use it enough. It's exactly that. There's something that causes the fall of Western civilization. They're making a journey from north to south because they know they can't survive the north winter. Mom passes away. It's just him and the boy. They're traveling, and then their little adventures show their mortality. And he's pretty much trying to explain to his son, "I'm dying here," and telling the boy, "These are some things that I have to go through, and these are some things that you're going to have to go through." And he's trying to prepare him for his own, not his own journey, but life after him. In that, he's showing his son that this is something that you're going to need to accept, that this is happening, and that's where it maybe falls a little bit short because the kid's not being very introspective. The dad is putting it in and kind of transferring that on the son, but he's feeling those feelings like, yeah, this is happening. I'm not getting around this. I'm not surviving this one. And oddly, another one of Cormac McCarthy's works was made into a more successful movie. I can't remember the name of it, but I remember when it came out, it was being compared similarly to Dead Man, but not The Road.
That's funny.
I'll have to dig again. I pulled that thread a little bit, but I didn't. I hate to jump too far in where it gives me my color in the dot answers, but I don't mind pulling a little bit if I feel like it's going to add to the conversation. So that's one thing I thought was pretty cool. That The Road is something that came to mind, and then I thought, yeah, interesting. Let me see why that came to mind. Click on him, click on McCarthy, and see that one of his books turned into a film are, they said, is very similar in the tone and the imagery of Dead Man. I'm gonna look it up right now. Okay. So you guys
While you're
keep
doing
going.
that,
And
well, this feels weird, but while you're looking that up, I'll ask Tin Man for his answer.
this feels weird.
Okay, so protagonist. Walk me through it real quick again.
Okay,
Protagonist?
our bone structure here. Protagonist's life is suddenly altered.
Okay.
Protagonist is dead, dying, or in limbo.
Okay.
Protagonist befriends a character who guides hero through reflection of life. Protagonist experiences or observes several meaningful events to their understanding of life. Protagonist learns a lesson about life or death. And protagonist accepts death or changes view on life or death.
Oh man, I had one and I was like, it's a little too out there. It's too out there. Oh, let's see if I can find another one.
Okay, well, you're doing that.
Here, you just
I got one for you.
Go ahead, send it.
Beetlejuice.
Ooh. One more, and then
Okay.
Beetlejuice.
I know what you meant. I was trying to link it to the bones. How am I putting skin on these bones? Okay.
So our heroes their life is suddenly altered. They drown.
Yeah, they die. Yeah.
They die. They are dead. They're in limbo with the, they go to the office or whatever, right? They befriend Winona Ryder's character, who gives them a little perspective on life, on death. And of course, they go through everything they go through. And in the end, learn a little lesson.
Yeah. Nice. I see it. I have a couple, but they're like action movies that don't quite fit that scheme. I'm like, yeah, they sort of die. Not the protagonist.
I've got 3 more. K-Max, did you say you had another one?
I don't. I'm out.
Okay.
I'm still looking this up too.
I don't think that one fits.
How about Ghost?
Oh, yeah, that's a clear one. I was just thinking of that, too, because I was like, that is the craziest depiction of someone going to hell. It's like these shadow monsters come and drag you underground. Yeah, I was like, I remember being like, that was freaky, seeing that as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I remember seeing that as a kid. I'm like, I like everything except the end there.
Yeah. I'm like, I wonder if that's really how hell is. Shadow monsters come and drag you down.
Well, let me know how it goes.
For any of our listeners who have been dead, and let us know how it went.
Any of our unsavory listeners who have that experience.
Any near-death experiences out there? Any NDEs?
One of my favorite lines from movies is, I guess scenes is the one Ghost is on the train. He's like, get off, get off, get off. So I always think about that whenever I ride.
It's like
any
hitting
train.
signs and knocking newspapers out of people's hands.
The people in like real life are like, whoa, what's going on? Get off my train. Yeah.
Just do what you normally do on the subway. Just act like he's not there. Just, like, oh my gosh, he's not looking at me, is he?
It's a Wonderful Life.
What?
I was going to say that one, but I never seen the movie.
What? I gotta go.
I knew that was in the vein.
I gotta go.
But I had like Last Action Hero, but he doesn't really die. He goes into like another world. It's not
Let's
really
go
what's it
back to I
called.
didn't see that movie.
I didn't see that movie.
I gotta go.
It just seemed boring.
Oh my goodness.
It's Jimmy Stewart. Like, whatever.
Help me.
I can do a Jimmy Stewart and give me a second.
Why would you though?
You don't know who he is. What do you care?
You don't even know him.
He was Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, right? That was him.
Oh my.
Which was even boringer.
Oh my.
Very obvious, though, for Wonderful Life, right? He's got a guardian
I mean,
angel here.
I figured that even without even seeing it.
But you didn't feel.
I feel like that's why I'm Tin Man right there. Right there.
That is.
Did you get the feels from that? No.
But you know why you're coming to see The Wizard of Oz, right?
Did you pronounce that Vaz? Wizard of Oz?
The Wizard of Oz? I don't know what you're talking about. The Wizard of Ozly. I don't know what you're talking about. I got one more, though, and it's one that we kind of mentioned already. Coco.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't die, I guess, but he goes into limbo. He goes into the next world, befriends who would be his father, is guided through what it means to have ancestry and legacy, and the other family members learn their own lesson as well.
I've never seen Coco. I know I've been told by both of you guys to watch it.
Well, you will have to watch it.
Make me.
by the
I
end of
don't
the
know
season.
what to say.
Okay.
By the end of the season, though, it is
By the end of the season,
I'm
I'll be
so
on
sad.
the. I'll be on the journey with you.
K-Max, we will get his first reactions, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You'll
that's
get
true.
first reactions.
I'm just so sad.
I so sad.
I've got two. I think two right now. The others?
He got two.
He got two.
22 points for whoever gets that reference.
Oh, come on, Gryffindor.
Same actor, too.
Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah. The others?
Okay.
I thought the others.
Yeah.
A good one with our friend, Mrs. Keith Urban.
Oh yeah, Nicole Kidman.
And
I have to. Oh, do you have it right there? Another one.
well, I have Blood Meridian by Cormac McCarthy. That's the one that was often
okay. Yeah.
compared with Dead Man.
Oh, my brother told me to. He's like, that's what I'm reading right now. Blood Meridian. Said it was really good.
Their violence and depravity and pretty much challenge of the traditional Western genre.
I have to point out, I had to bite my tongue earlier when you were talking about the Hitcher.
Uh-huh.
And you said, hello. You remind me of Tigger. In the, you know what I'm talking about?
I
He's
know
lost,
exactly what you're talking
in the
about.
bog or whatever.
Now when you listen to it, you're going to think that even more. Because that is the recurring bell that rings to cue you to know that it's haunting.
Yeah. Tigger goes on his own journey there.
Yep. Who knows what he was thinking?
Oh, I'm gonna start.
Heffalumps
I'm
and
gonna start
woozles.
my greeting to you guys each episode like that now. So that was the last of my movies
Your
that fit
list?
that plot structure. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I got nothing else. Something
Man.
will come to me. Something will come to me on the way home. I'm just gonna
Blown
text
away
it to
by
you.
it. It's a Wonderful Life. You know, that's one I don't know how I didn't get that. And then Wizard of Oz was such I thought a great one also.
Yeah. So a little wrap up then for our chapter on Western's versatility. So I thought this chapter was neat to see the similarities with non-Western movies, or at least non-traditional Western movies. We also saw with Hateful Eight how you can, you wouldn't call it a neo-Western, but it was a way to use the Western genre to give a contemporary, it was a way for the Western genre to give a contemporary message. And even though those messages were also appropriate for that time, this speaks to our thoughts on how the human experience has a cyclic nature to it. But that's another story altogether. And then now with Dead Man, we can see another way of how diverse the use of the Western can be. So it's a mode of cinematic storytelling that is as moldable as your imagination. And that's I think I pointed that out our first episode on the Western genres. It's whatever you want to do with it, you have the ability to do. What are your guys anything new you guys uncovered with our chapter here on Westerns?
Well, I like the way that things have kind of fallen into place. It's almost like you planned it, Vaz.
Almost, guys.
Almost like the whole idea from the idea of Hell or High Water being like our kickoff type of thing. And then the next topic of native representation. And then seeing I will say it now, the incredible Gary Farmer in this role.
Yeah.
And then the
My favorite
representation in this Western, you know what I mean? In this, acid neo-Western, whatever the heck it is. This Neil Young joint. Get it? I just think it's neat to see those connections. And those are connections that I would not have made ordinarily. But they seem as crystal clear now. They just come naturally.
And that's a cool skill to pick up. And I hope that other people are seeing films a little bit broader now, because it's cool. It's if you can get more juice out of the fruit, you know what I mean? Why wouldn't you? And that's just it expands your ability to get things out of films and movies, and it's fun. I thought that it was too much book learning feeling to dive into movies like this, but it's like being a better reader. It's why I teach reading, right? It's why I teach struggling readers to read better. I'm like, you want to be able to, man, there's so much good here. You're reading the Harry Potter series? Yeah, man, let's learn some skills to comprehend this better, because there's stuff you're missing here that's juicy. There's yummy payoffs all over the place here.
I've been listening to some past episodes again, and there's some things that you guys say, too, that keep popping up. Like, there's an episode when you said something along the lines of not having the vocabulary yet to understand something. So, in this context, it's too much book work to dive into themes and why and how to relate, this and that and what these mean. But if your vocabulary isn't set to decipher that, of course it's going to feel like tough work. I mean, you're a teacher, so kind of the same thing. If a student doesn't have a set of vocabulary skills or knowledge on how to do a certain math problem, what's multiplication? All I know is subtraction and addition. Of course, it's going to feel like tough work. But once you gain a little bit of more vocabulary, it becomes fun to be able to say,
that's right, exactly right.
I can decipher this. I can read that. I can multiply these numbers. A bunch of different things start to open up. And there's no saying, because I remember you guys also said, rule number one of movies is entertain me. And I've always kind of thought, yes, but you can be entertained in more than just one way.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty cool that, listening to the earlier stuff, you can see the journey that we've all been on, actually.
Yeah, man. We got at least, I know exactly one listener, and probably our most faithful listener, is going to, that last 40 seconds is going to be a nutshell of why people enjoy, or why we hope they would enjoy what we're doing. There's growth there. There's fun. There's laughs to be had. But it's like, it puts it in a nutshell wonderfully of, and how this can apply to young people too, who wanted to listen or join in this curriculum with us, this study with us, because the similarities between perceiving a film are very similar to perceiving a book. You still need to build up some strength, some grit, and then you find enough skills and you become more confident. You get enough success where you buy into the harder stuff to solve the bigger word problems. So yeah.
And again, it's still, though, it's what you perceive. That's all we have is our own perception. So you don't let anyone tell you what you perceive is wrong, or because that's your own lens, that's your own personal lens, and no one can change that. You can alter your own lens by learning things, but at the end of the day, it's how you perceive it, and that is uniquely your own. Whether it be someone else's work, like a movie, or a work, like a book, it's what it means to you and how you see things.
I think the filmmakers would have it no other way. A good filmmaker would be like, "Yep," or songwriter, "That's for you."
Yeah, I like it.
That's awesome.
Anything to add, Tin Man?
No.
Some witty comment to end our chapter.
I'm out of wit.
Jingle witty means nothing to my friends and I.
I'm gonna play us a small bit of. I can't sit through this without playing a little bit of Neil Young from this soundtrack.